this is Passy from Passy's World of ICT, the guy with the white hat, and we're here to help you excel at Excel, and we are going to be doing employee payroll calculations, so like timesheets and payroll sheets. So rather than like in this image here, where someone has to like put it all on sheets in a folder, handwritten, and get out the calculator to work it all out, we're going to make life so much easier by doing the whole thing in Excel, and that will really excel our payroll sheets. So we're a bit of a slow talker, so make sure you increase the play speed of this video. Now you go down to the tools bar on the YouTube video, and there's a cog here. Click on that cog and change the playback speed to either like 1.5 or 1.75, and you'll find the video flows a lot better because we talk too slow. And we got a quick lesson here, so we don't have a detailed timeline index because we're going to make this as quick as we can and not draw it out too long. So let's get into it. This is all about when you get a fistful of dollars in your hand from getting paid for the work you've been doing. So the fundamentals of earning these hourly wages are retirement fund deductions, so what we call in Australia our superannuation deductions, are the taxes on earnings. You're not going to get this whole fistful of dollars. Everyone's going to be taking it off you, okay? The retirement fund has to come out, the taxes have to come out, the hospital insurance has to come out, especially if you're an older dude like me. Everything comes out. There's credit card payments. There's not much left. The payroll spreadsheet, set up how we set that up in Excel, working out percentage of values, which we have done before and you'll need to know for this lesson. So you need to have done all of the previous lessons in order in this course and not just be jumping ahead to this payroll lesson because some of the things in here we're just going to assume you know from the other lessons. And finally, how to complete the payroll spreadsheet. So earning wages, let's just talk about this a bit. So wages are paid for people that just work on an hourly rate. So they might be just working casual and not full-time, like me with my part-time photography gig, which thanks to the Chinese Wuhan flu has totally been killed off. There's been no sports to photograph during lockdown, there's been no music, there's been no events, and there's been no income for Passy. So yeah, I've been doing it tough just having my other part-time job only, thanks to that Chinese Wuhan flu that's put Melbourne in lockdown for months. But that's enough of me whinging. But say I was out working and I was getting $20 an hour for videoing and taking photos of this sports match here on the Oval in Australia. So if I did 2 days of that, maybe the Saturday and Sunday matches, 15 hours altogether this week, then my gross wage would be 15 times the $20 an hour, 15 times 20, $300. That's what I'd get for that. But I don't get all of those $300 if I'm an employee of a company, because what happens in Australia, boss has to take out 10% and give that to a superannuation retirement fund, your super. So 10% of that $330 needs to go to the retirement fund, not to me. And so 300 minus that $30, I'm now only left with $270. But wait, it's not over yet. The next thing that happens is out of that $270 that's left over, the government steps in and takes taxes. All right, now on average, it's a complicated tax scale because the government loves it that way, of course. The rich people benefit most, of course, like all Western countries. But on average, they remove 25% of your money if you're just getting an average kind of wage like I am. So we're just going to simplify it. 25% of that $270 is $67.20, $67.50, sorry. We can work that out on a calculator. And so we subtract that away from that $270 that was left after we did retirement, and we're left with $202.50. So we get about $200. We're out in the cold here, wintertime, taking photos, working really hard, earned $300, but other leeches come in and take it away from us. We've only got $200 left over. Don't whinge and whine, because that's life in the Western world. And it's a lot better than a lot of other countries I've visited, third world countries and whatnot. So don't complain. Even getting $200 is better than not getting much at all and being hungry, starving all the time. All right, so setting up the spreadsheet. Obviously, we don't want to have to do all those calculations. It'd be much better if we can automate it in an Excel spreadsheet. So we'll need to set up something like this. We've got our standard payroll calculations, the name of the person, the employee, Passy, how many hours they've worked. It was 15 hours for me. The per hour rate was $20, and then we go through all those calculations. So the first thing was working out what your normal pay would be. 15 times 20 is 300. Then you need to take away that 10% super, and then you'll have less money. With that less money, grab 25% of that the government takes off you, and then you've got less money, and then finally there's the money you're going to actually get in your hand, right? It's not going to be like that guy at the start of the video. So as we saw in those calculations, what happens is when you multiply the 15 by 20, you get 300. 10% of that's 30. So take the 30 off. We need to do 300 minus 30 and get 270. Then we need to get 25% of that 270. That's 67.50. Do 270 minus 67.50. Then we got our final pay here, 202.50. All right. Now in Excel, when you've got a spreadsheet set up and we put in formulas, obviously, to work all of this out, we didn't do it by mental arithmetic in our head or get a calculator or anything. We did it in Excel by doing formulas. Now, if you want to actually show the formulas instead of these number answers here, what you can do is you can go to the Formulas tab and click Show Formulas, and that kind of turns it on and off, all right? Remember we had that filter button in a previous button, and you could click filter to turn it on, then click it again to reset it and turn it off. With this, you just click it once to turn it on, and then we can see all the formulas we used, and if you click it again to turn it off, then you'll see all the number answers like this, okay? So it's just an on-off button. Now, if we show the formulas and have a look at them, might be a bit hard to see, it's a bit small here, but you can see the 15 was in B5 and the 20 per hour was in C5. So I had to do B5 times C5. So you can see we've got that formula here, equals B5 times C5. And these are all formulas we've done in previous lessons. So watch those lessons if you're not understanding this. Now, super was 10% of our answer that we got in D5, okay, for the gross pay. So I got to get 10% of that, and that's going to be the amount of super. So in E5 here, the formula we put is equals 10% times what our answer was in D5 for the gross pay, all right? And that'll give us that. Now, that super money has to get subtracted from the big money we got paid, the gross pay here. So we're doing what was in this one, which was D5, and we're subtracting away the minus E5 super. So in here we've got D5 minus E5. Then this answer here is sitting in F5. We've got to get 25% of F5 to work out the tax. So we do equals 25% times F5 to work out the tax. That'll give us our tax answer. And then our final pay that we actually get will be this pay we're up to here after the super, the F5 minus the G5 tax. So in that last column, we got equals F5 minus G5, and that finishes off. Now, the great thing is once you've done this for one employee, you can just put the other employees in and their hours and rates, and then we can use that drag down copy to automatically just copy and paste all the formulas and work it out for everyone else. So we're not doing this for every single employee, as you'll see in a minute. This is great. This is really going to automate it and make it easy. Although for one employee, okay, it doesn't make it easier, but the power will be when we do more employees, which we're going to do next. So for multiple employees, we actually need a timesheet of the hours they worked each day, as well as the payroll. So we need to do two things. Now, I think we had a look at timesheets when we were doing the adding up lesson, the sum lesson, and getting totals, that lesson. So here we are, we've got the employees, Talia, Tiana, Anastasia, Brianna, and Jamalia, and they have all worked different numbers of hours, and they don't work every day of the week. You can see Talia on row 1 here, 0 hours, so she doesn't work on a Wednesday, that's her day off. Monday is the busiest day where they've got everyone at work doing a few hours. And not everyone works a full day either. So all we need to do is we need to add up for Talia her Monday plus Tuesday plus Wednesday plus Thursday plus Friday. Now we can use equal sum for that and get the answers in here, which we'll do in a minute. Then we need to record down also, as well as the timesheet, and work out their total hours. How much per hour do each of them get? Now it's different rates here, like Anastasia is the supervisor, the manager, she gets 25 an hour, whereas some of these juniors that are just like school, sort of school age kids, not 18 yet, they're getting $15 an hour, all right? And these 18, 19-year-olds are getting $20 an hour. So they're getting different pays. So we need to note down their pay that they're getting. And then what we can do is we can copy these total hours over into here. We can copy the pay rates into there. Then we can do our formulas for Talia and then drag down and finish it off for everyone else. And that's exactly what we're going to do now. Together. So you can get this start spreadsheet from the lesson download. So if you go to the YouTube video, in the video description, there's going to be a link for the Jen's Juices start spreadsheet. So click on that link, download it, and then up the top, when you load it up into Excel, make sure you do enable content. Click that yellow button up the top when it comes up and you'll be ready to go. So let's go across to Excel and do that now. All right, so here we are with the Jen's Juices spreadsheet you can get from the downloads. Now we need to add up Talia's hours. So in here, we just typed that formula I've already done in the previous lesson for getting Excel functions, and the one for getting totals. We did it in that lesson as well. We're going to use equal sum. So remember, you type in equal sum, then you click on the sum, and then we just color in or drag across, push down our mouse button and tell Excel, they're the guys you want to add up, okay? And then you press enter. And that's 26, and that's about right. 8 and 5 would be 13, and 6 would be 19, another 7 would be 26. Now remember, you can get on the corner of this box, when you clicked in it, there's that kind of square little dot in the corner. Remember, that's a drag and copy dot. You push down your mouse when you've got the black plus sign on that dot, drag down carefully to here, and it should copy that formula and transpose it for everyone else. So it has worked out. Tiana's done 31 hours, Anastasia's done 30, 16, and 27. And if we just check them quickly, Jamalia here, 8 and 4 is 12, and 7's 19, and 4 is 23, and another 4 is 27. So that's all working. You've got to be careful. Remember, we did see in one of our lessons, sometimes if the cells are way away from where you're copying and dragging, this drag down doesn't work, but it's perfectly working there. Now, we've got the per hour and we've got the hours. Now, how do we get these hours over into our payroll? Because like our timesheet's finished now. How do we get these hours here, these orange guys, over to here? And how do we get those dollars per hours over into this column? All right, what you do is we click on that one, and that one is at G7, okay? So all we have to do is say equals and click on G7. And it's going to copy whatever's in G7 into this box down here, all right? And it copies the 26. And then here we can just do it manually if you want to. Equals, now Tiana's hours are here. So you click in that, it works out, Excel works out it's G8, and you press enter. Now you can actually just go up here and drag down, do the drag copy. And it should copy them all okay. And if we just check them, 30, 16, 27, 30, 16, 27. So that's worked great. Now they're not in dollars, so we just leave them as whole numbers, but we could go up to the middle and just center align them, and maybe this heading will just center align that as well. All right, so that was all in previous lessons. Now the per hour pay rate is here, so what we need to do is to copy it across, we go equals, and just click in the one we want to copy, which is this $20, and press, so it works out that's in J7, press enter, and there it is. And we should be able to just go back to that one, and with our little dot in the corner, do our drag down copying, and it has copied all of those correctly, all right? And they're formatted in dollars. Now, maybe we don't want the zeros on the end. Remember, you can highlight them all, push down your mouse and get them all, and go up to here to where we set currency and just go to this one, decrease decimal. We did that in a previous lesson as well. And we might kind of put those guys in the center here. Now we need to do gross pay is the hours times the rate. So we're just doing a formula, multiplying formula, press your equals. We need to do the 26, so click on that one. then your Shift and 8, your star key for multiplying, then click on the other one you want to multiply by, this guy here, the 20, press enter, and there we go. She's got 520 as her gross pay before any deductions come out. Now, we can just probably grab this corner and copy down, and that's working okay, because like 27, two 27s are 54, so 27 times 20 would be 540, so that's all working well. Always just check one or two of them just to make sure that drag copy is working. You can't trust it all the time. It works like 9 out of 10 times, but sometimes there's errors. If you're dragging and copying and you've got formulas that are grabbing things from far away from where you are working at. Right, now we've got to do the super. So remember, that is doing 10%. So we just type in 10%, like that, equals 10 with a percent sign. The percent sign is just doing Shift and 5 on our keyboard. Then we do the star key, Shift and 8 to get the star. And we need to multiply that by this, the gross pay. So we just click on that guy there and press enter. So yep, 10% of 520 is 52. If we drag down, that's going to get us our super money okay, and that's all good. Now, we have pre-formatted these too. You'll notice they all automatically came out bold because we had already set them bold previously. Okay, now, we've got that. Now, our pay after super. Okay, well, we had 520, but you've got to take 52 super out. So basically, we're doing equals our 520 we add here. Then we need to subtract what the retirement fund was, the super, as we call it in Australia, 52, and then we press enter. Okay, so now we're down to, we've only got 468. We've still got to take out some tax, and then we'll get our final pay. All right, so that 468, we've got to get 25% of that to pay as tax to the government. So we go equals, just type in 25%, do your Shift 8 timesing, and then we need to take that value there, the 468. So just click on it. Excel will work out the formula for us. Press enter. So it's going to be $117 you pay in tax. So your final pay that you're actually going to have in your hand to go to Jen's Juices and buy a cool, refreshing lime juice drink on a hot summer day, lime juice and water, what a beautiful drink, is as follows. So we have to go equals, and you can't see it there because of the coloring. I think something's a bit funny here. Let's just press escape. I think I need to pre-color those in. Let's just go this letter A up here and make sure they're the right color. Okay, that's better. Now we can see the equals. So we need to do this guy. The 468 was the money we had, but then the government took $117 off us. So we subtract that one and click on it and press enter. And so she's going to have 351. So she started with like $520 that she earned, but then because of all this deduction stuff, she only ends up with 351. All right, that's just life, kids. Now, let's just work out what we do here. Now, see here, it's given us one of those triangles in the corner, which means Excel's saying, drawing our attention that there might be an error. So remember, when that happens, you mouse on, just mouse over, you don't have to hold the mouse button down, on that exclamation mark. It says the formula in this cell differs from the formulas in this area of the spreadsheet. Well, I don't know what Excel's on about there, because that formula is just a percent formula, and we had another percent formula here. So why Excel thinks this one's so much different, I don't know. It isn't actually an error. So you go back to this and click on the down arrow next to that exclamation mark and just say ignore error. All right, because we want to ignore that error. Now we should just be ready to drag down. So the pay after super, we should just be able to drag that down, and I'll copy and transpose the formula. That looks good because everyone's pay is going down by about 10%. Yes, that looks good. And this one here, we should be able to drag in the corner and take that down. This one here, just to show you again what we were doing, remember we were going equals, this was the money they had after the retirement fund super, then you have to subtract off the money that they're going to have to pay in tax to the government, okay, and that's their final pay. All right, so they're working all right, so let's just drag that corner down and finish off the others. Just a couple of finishing touches. We need to put kind of some boxes around these, I guess, and some boxes around these. Maybe we'll just center those as well with our formatting tools. Let's just put some boxes around there. Now remember, for putting boxes down there, we go up to the put boxes around things, borders. We want to pick the line color first. So we're just going to use a light gray like that. And then remember, you can test it out with your pencil. And it's looking all right. So I'll press the ESC escape key and we're set with that color. So let's just drag it down here and go to our borders and go all borders. And over here, now that the color's set up, drag that down and also click on borders and go all borders. And that's it. Let's save that one. Okay, so that is our whole pay done for Jen's Juices, all right? And except we've got these triangles here. All right, what we can do on that is you can drag down and highlight them all, then just go to this guy next to the arrow, next to the exclamation mark, the arrow, and just say ignore error, and that will take all them away. So now we're finished, okay? So that's good. So what can happen next week is, for the next week, we can just copy this sheet and we can just clear all the contents off, leave the formulas there, clear the contents off, and as you type their hours in for next week, it's automatically, let's even try that now. Just say Talia. We can reuse this for next week. So let's just clear that off, clear contents. And let's say next week, Talia works 6 hours. She has to work 9 hours on a Tuesday for some reason. Remember, Wednesday's her day off. She only does 6 hours here. And Friday, she does another 9-hour shift, all right? So see, it's worked out. She's done 30 hours now. It's put the 30 in there. It's done the 30 times 20, got her 600. And taken 60 off is 540. So it's done all the calculations. So now that we've set up this week, for next week, all Jen needs to do, okay, is just clear all these out. So just right click and clear the contents. And if we just, and that's also because everything's zeros there because it's empty now, these are all reset to zeros as well. And see if Tiana gets a pay rise, let's say we're going to have Tiana's turned 18, so we're going to have to put her pay up to $20. See how automatically her pay's gone up down here in the payroll spreadsheet. So this is great. This is how you build these. This is a very simple idea of how you build these integrated reusable template systems. So this is now a payroll template, and we could take it and use it for another business. Just change the employees' names in it and we're ready to go. So once you build a template, that's a very powerful thing in Excel and it's all good. And that one's finished. All right, so let's go back now and have a look at what we're doing next. So that's the completed one. Did we get all the right answers? I think we did. Yes, maybe we should have checked that, but you check yours anyway. You can have a look at this one and they're all the answers you should get if you've done your formulas properly. So the challenge task is to complete this spreadsheet. Now this spreadsheet has an extra thing on it. Here in Australia, you have to contribute 10% of your money that you first earn before you pay the tax on it to your retirement fund. The government brought that law in that's you have to do that. Now you can also put in extra money to your retirement fund, especially as you get older and you're getting closer to retirement. I thought I was getting closer to retirement, and then they changed, like in Australia, you have to work till you're 67 or something now, ridiculous. Like I was planning to retire at like 50 or 55, because plenty of guys that were born in like the 1950s and early 60s, those guys, like they got these great retirement payouts and stuff when they were 50 or 55. But now there's this government law, like we have to work to a 67. I've heard in other Western countries, people have to work until like they're 70 years old. So I'll probably, retire and be dead in 2 years because they've been worked to death by having to work another 20 years. But again, that's life in the Western countries. Kids, suck it up. It's much better than being in a third world country and dying of freezing cold in winter because there's no heating in the houses. All right, now in this one, you can put extra super in for your retirement. And what Jordan's doing is he's decided he's going to put in $100 extra. So that hundreds will have to come off his pay here. These other people are zero. They're not putting in extra money. And Brody is going to put in an extra $50. So you'll do all of this up to after-tax pay the exact same way as we did Jen's Juices. So that should be fine. Then what you have to do with these last two columns is you just work out the final pay equals this one here minus the extra super that they're doing, okay? So if people are doing no super, their pay will stay the same. So it's just an extra step here. This last column, you need one more formula, equals H5, it'll be minus I5. Enter, that'll give you the money. Then you can just drag that down and you're done. All right, so that'll take care of extra voluntary superannuation retirement fund contributions after tax. All right, so that's your little challenge task. And you can get that very start spreadsheet that's right there from the lesson download. So that's it for timesheets and payroll. And they're the figures you should get if you do your challenge task correctly. And you can see what has happened here. To get that $12.50 we did equals this guy, the $13.50, take $100 off and it'll be $12.50, all right? And $4.72 for Brody. If he takes $50 off to do a bit of extra retirement fund contributions, he'll get $422.50. That's the right one. So you can check all those out when you've done the challenge task. And merch store, if you want one of these fabulous I Always Excel shirts, and they're good for summer because they're white and they're cool, and you know, not everyone gets a joke when you're wearing it around. That's the best thing. Some people just stare at you. Other people smile. People that are smart and accountants and stuff that have done Excel, they smile because they know what it's all about. Anyway, get it from either France or the UK on eBay. Just type in Microsoft Excel t-shirt. And so the next steps, continue doing our course. So we've pretty much done all of the calculations and formulas things we're going to do in this beginner's course, because it is only a beginner's course. And to excel your Excel, what we're doing next is we're moving into graphs. So we're going to be doing pie charts, and then we're going to be doing bar graphs, and we're going to do line graphs. We're going to do comparison graphs, okay? So that we can do a full business analysis for a coffee shop or Jen's Juices on their sales and their wages and stuff, but we can also put it into really nice graphs, which is so much easier to understand than trying to look at a bunch of numbers in a spreadsheet. All right, so it's going to be graphs, which the Americans call charts. In Excel, they call them, they're not doing a graph, they're doing an Excel chart. So it'll be graphs. If you're English, it'll be graphs. And if you're American, it's going to be charts. And so like this video if you found it helpful. And make sure you subscribe to our channel. Subscribe, so you find out when those graphs lessons are coming up on YouTube, and watch them. And we'll see you in the next lesson.